water issues in Latin America. Latin America faces many issues, one of them being water. Water problems include pollution, floods, droughts, and sanitary issues. 4,500 children in Latin America die every day from a lack of clean water. 70% of Earth is water, but less than 1% is drinkable.
75% of the people in Latin America and the Caribbean suffer from dehydration of poor water quality.
In the past 10 years, droughts have been reduced electricity production in Brazil, Argentina, Chile, and Peru.
Today, we are going to interview two people that know about these problems, and they will explain more about them.
And now we're going to the first interview.
Buenas tardes, estamos realizando un proyecto con el tema del agua y tenemos el placer de entrevistar al ingeniero Juan Carlos Félix.
Hola, buenas tardes, mucho gusto, gracias por la invitación. En lo que respecta al agua y su contaminación y su cuidado, han pasado ya muchos años en los cuales nosotros, las personas o los seres humanos, hemos descuidado un poco este tema y no nos hemos preocupado por él porque creemos que el agua iba a ser eterna, ¿no? Y vemos ahora en estos tiempos de que empezamos a aumentar la población muy considerablemente, aunado a que nos estamos realizando en unos países industrializados, donde el agua la hemos estado contaminando por diferentes factores. La contaminación.
¿Cuáles son los factores?
Pues hay muchos factores que nos influyen. Uno que es muy importante es la industria. Sus residuos, al hacer algún proceso de fabricación o hacer algún proyecto, utilizan un agua que esa se contamina muchas de las veces es con sustancias tóxicas o metales, que esos no los tratamos o decimos esta agua ya no sirve y la aventamos al subsuelo o a alguna cuenca o algún río o algo, y esa agua, como va contaminada, aunado contamina más lo que a donde llega. Puede ser ríos, como les digo, puede ser algún lago, puede ser algún lugar donde haya agua en mayor cantidad confinada. El factor más importante de la contaminación es el hombre. El hombre tiene mucha influencia en tener un agua contaminada. ¿Sí? Entonces, en América Latina sí hay muchos problemas de agua en donde más población hay.
Sí, ¿usted sabe en cuáles países hay más población, que haya más problema de agua?
Bueno, tenemos mucho problema en todos los países. Y si son países que no son desarrollados, ¿sí? Entonces eso ayuda a que esos países no tengan el agua o el recurso suficiente para poder aprovechar completamente como debe ser el agua.
¿Usted cree que con el tiempo se pueda arreglar ese problema o va a hacerse cada vez peor?
Yo creo que se va a agudizar si no hacemos algo. Por ejemplo, el tema de Sonora, ellos están trayendo agua de mar, la traen, que es un agua salada, la procesan y la hacen agua dulce para poder tener el consumo humano.
¿Usted sabe cuál es el proceso específicamente?
Bueno, sí conozco el proceso. El proceso es de unas plantas que son salinizadoras, es quitar toda la sal o el sodio que trae el agua, que es bastante, y es un proceso muy costoso porque cuesta mucho hacerlo. Eso se pasa por unos filtros especiales y luego se pasa por unas membranas especiales que hacen pasar el agua por ahí para detener toda la sal y poder tener agua dulce. Pero ese proceso cuesta mucho dinero. Nosotros en Centroamérica no tienen tanto problema porque no son lugares de selva. Ellos son selva, no son desiertos. Entonces ellos tienen mucha captación de agua de lluvia, pero mucha de ella no la aprovechan. ¿Por qué? Porque no tienen dónde almacenarlo, no tienen presas en donde poder depositar, que el agua de lluvia llegue a esas presas y poderlo utilizar. Normalmente esa se pierde en la misma tierra, en lugares que son muy selváticos. Y si nosotros seguimos contaminando en todos los aspectos, tanto en la contaminación industrial, los automóviles, en aventar desechos indiscriminadamente, en aventar desde un bote de refresco al ambiente, eso nos está afectando a nosotros en nuestra contaminación. El ecosistema lo estamos alterando y eso no es bueno. ¿Qué hay que hacer? Primero, ahorrar agua. Lo más importante ahorita, nosotros tenemos un problema, lo que necesitamos es ahorrarlo.
¿Usted cree que si la gente sigue igual con su misma forma de pensar de que el agua no se va a acabar, usted cree que y siga actuando así, usted cree que puede haber agua en el futuro? O sea,
Mire, yo creo que sí va a haber agua, yo creo que va a haber agua, siempre va a haber agua. Lo que no vamos a tener es agua suficiente para todos. No vamos a tener agua suficiente. Va a haber lugares donde no van a poder beber agua o te van a tener que llevarles el agua. Los lugares donde hay poca población han hecho inclusive ecosistemas para las propias comunidades de cómo purificar agua. El agua de lluvia ellos la aprovechan, la filtran y la usan para la comunidad. Porque
¿y el proceso es muy caro?
Sí es caro.
En cualquier país?
No, sí es caro si lo haces para la cantidad de gente que lo necesites hacer. Si haces un sistema de filtración para 100 personas, a lo mejor no es caro. Pero si lo haces para millones de personas, sí es muy caro. Lo que tenemos que hacer es aprovechar el agua que tenemos, cuidarla, ¿sí? Y tratar de no contaminar.
Entonces, ¿usted cree que si dejamos de contaminar y ahorramos agua, en el futuro sí puede haber agua? O sea, sí, no va a haber problema para...
No pudiéramos nosotros tener problemas si nosotros la cuidamos. Lo más importante es cuidar. Lo que tenemos es que cuidar. Actualmente nosotros hacemos sistemas de purificación de agua. Hay otro tipo de formas de cómo poder regenerar el agua, pero el agua dulce, por poner un ejemplo, y nosotros nos dedicamos a eso. Yo de un agua negra, que nosotros le llamamos, que es un agua contaminada, imagínate agua de drenaje, ¿sí? Nosotros podemos hacerla buena entre comillas, o sea, puedo hacer esa agua, hacerle un proceso y no beberla, pero sí utilizarla para riego, para lugares donde son lugares agrícolas donde hay que regar porque siembran. Entonces esa agua la podemos utilizar nosotros para ese fin, que no esté contaminada, o sea, que no nos afecte a nosotros, al ser humano, ¿sí? Aunque no esté dispuesta a beberse. En esos procesos existen. Hay mucha gente que lo hace, o sea, hay muchos lugares en donde hay mucha escasez y tienen que sembrar y lo hacen de esa forma, pero es costoso. La industria está ya muy regulada, sobre todo casi ya todas las industrias que son conscientes de esto, cuando hacen las plantas de procesamiento de cualquier tipo, ellos hacen sus propios sistemas de purificación, hacen sus propios almacenamientos de agua, sus propias cisternas, y ellos toman el agua de proceso, la almacenan, la procesan y la vuelven a utilizar. Y vuelven a meterla al proceso y toda esa agua que se recauda vuelve a caer en un depósito donde hacen el proceso y la vuelven a utilizar. Pero en ese proceso se va perdiendo agua, o sea, siempre necesitan agua nueva. Siempre se necesita meter más agua, porque en el proceso de purificación de agua se desperdicia también agua. Y hay muchas empresas que sí lo hacen.
Bueno, muchas gracias por acompañarnos.
No, gracias a ustedes por la invitación.
Now, we're going to the second interview.
Good day. I'm here today with Ingeniero Alejandro and
Hello, my name is Alejandro Garza. I'm a president of Atlatec. Atlatec is a company that is specialized in water. We are one of the most important companies in Latin America for water issues, and we are specialized in these kind of things, and I'm very glad to participate in this interview.
Okay, so what are your thoughts about water issues in Latin America?
Well, Latin America has a very different problems because we have in Latin America and also in Caribbean very different levels of progress in solving the water issues. The most important water issues that we have in Latin America are, first of all, lack of availability of water, especially in countries like ours, Mexico. And also, we have a big problem in all the Latin American countries regarding the contamination and pollution of water, because the level of treatment of water is too low in most of the Latin American countries. Also, another issue very important is the lack of efficiency in the water organisms in charge of water distribution in the cities and municipalities of different countries in our continent. Those are the most important things that we have.
Okay, what do you think will happen in the future if people continue to pollute water?
Well, unfortunately, the most important problem because of the pollution of water is a health problem, because contaminated water means illness, sickness, and gastrointestinal problems for all the people. Because if we discharge water untreated to rivers or water basins, what we will have is a problem that other people could drink this water contaminated, and it could produce a very important health problem, especially gastrointestinal problem. Let me give you as an example. The most important cause of death for children in several countries of Latin America are gastrointestinal problems because of lack of treatment of the water. Those are the most important problems.
In how many years do you think water will finish?
In fact, water will not finish. Water will be always there. The problem is that the availability of water is not always in the places that we are. Please allow me to give you an example.
Mm-hmm.
Countries like Mexico, for instance, we have places like Monterrey, where we are far from water, and we don't have enough, and we need to bring water from long distance. In other places like Brazil, they have a lot of water, and they don't have problems of water. Other countries like, for instance, Chile, they don't have enough water, and they have to take water from the sea, and they have to desalination, to use desalination of water in order to have enough water for their industries, mining industries, and also for water consumption of the people. So the water is there. The problem is not always in the place in where consumption is. So we have an imbalance of water, but water will not finish. Water will be always there.
Correct. Can you explain the process of the desalinating water? Desalinating the water?
There are several places in where there's no other source of water more than sea.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, in Chile, which is a very dry place, very hilly and mountains, they don't have enough water, so they have to bring water from the sea. And the other places like Peru, in Lima City, for instance, is the same situation. Also in several places in Mexico, for instance, in Baja California, there are no other sources of water than desalination of seawater. The process to do it is through take the water from the sea using a process named reverse osmosis, in which it's possible to eliminate the salt of the water and then to have a very good quality clean water.
Okay. Have you participated in any fundraiser that addresses the problem?
Yes, we have a special research and development program in order to develop better technologies and lower cost technologies to treat the water in order to reduce the pollution of it and to reduce the cost of the water treatment facilities and plants. So we have developed, and I have been participating in developing these kind of technologies that can be useful not just in Latin America, so in global basis.
What are solutions you will give to this issue?
Could you please repeat, please?
What are some solutions that you will give to this issue, to water issues?
Well, it's important to work in three areas. First, the first and most important one is to reduce the contamination and pollution through installation of water treatment plants for the municipalities in order to treat the water that is discharged from this city, from all the cities. Other thing is that we need also to have a very important programs to reduce the contamination of the industries, because there are many industries that just discharge water untreated to the rivers or to the underground or to water basins. So in all Latin America, we have to work a lot in order to put facilities for reduction of contamination. There are some countries like ours in Mexico in which we have been progress a lot. Please allow me to give you some figures. We have a very different level of treatment in different places in Latin America. In Mexico, for all the municipal or cities water that we discharge, we treat 70%, which is high. In countries like Brazil, the treatment is around 35%. The other 65% in Brazil is untreated. Chile has 90% of treatment of the water from the city. But we have other countries like Uruguay, Paraguay, in which this level of treatment is too low. Also in Caribbean countries, the level of treatment of water is really low, less than 20%. So the work that we have to do in order to improve the quality of water is enormous. Other thing that we have to work in the water issues is to be sure that we put, once it's treated, we put clean water available to the population, building aqueducts to take water from the places in which we have water to the places in which there's no water. But all of these issues needs funds and money, capital investment. So this capital investment has to come from development organizations and also from sources of funds that comes from the collection of the water in the city and from the industry. However, the efficiency of this collection is too low. For instance, in Mexico, from each cubic meter that we take from the dams or from the original source, we just collect 30 or 40% of that, because the rest is lost in leakaging from the water distribution networks, or is not invoiced, or not metered, or also is not collected from the people. So that's another area in which we have to work a lot in Latin America in order to have enough money and capital investments to solve the problem. So the combination of all of these things are the most important things in which we have to work to solve this issue.
Okay. What would you recommend to people that are trying to resolve this issue?
All the people can participate. Each one of us can reduce the consumption of water, doing a lot of things like to reduce the time in which we are in the bath, or the time or the water that we we use to wash the car, or to do all the things that we can do in order to use less water. Because if all of us use less water, everybody can contribute to reduce the problem. I think it's also very important for the people that contribute paying the water. The water is not for free. It's necessary to pay for it. The people that pays more money for the water is the people that doesn't have it, because they have to pay for a truck that brings the water, very expensive. And unfortunately, the poor people pays more for the water than the people that have the availability of water. So all of us can contribute paying the fee that we have to pay for the water. If we do so, we will have funds to solve the problem. If not, it will be very difficult.
And finally, which countries of Latin America are the ones that receive the most help regarding this issue?
There are international banks and funds that support the increasing of water quality and water availability. Mainly the Inter-American Development Bank, or the World Bank, or also development banks from the country. Like, for instance, in Mexico, we have a development bank. Its name is Panobra, that supports financing for improving the water quality and availability of water. Also, the governments of the countries, of different countries, all of the countries in Latin America have funds to support investments to increase the quality and availability of water. So there are many governments and banks that have funds for capital investments in this kind of things and issues. Each country has their own program. I think the Mexican one is one of the best that we have in all Latin America, because we have a very good financial schemes to improve the solutions. And but other countries also have funds from international development banks and governments.
Well, thank you very much for answering these few questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and I'm very glad to have this interview. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Sewage from domestic households, factories, and commercial building sewage that is treated in water treatment plants is often disposed into the sea. Sewage can be more problematic when people flush chemical and pharmaceutical substances down the toilet.
Dumping solid waste and littering by humans in rivers, lakes, and oceans. Littering items include cardboard, styrofoam, aluminium, plastic, and glass.
Industrial waste from factories, which use fresh water to carry waste from the plant into rivers, contaminates water with pollutants such as asbestos, lead, mercury, and petrochemicals.
Oil pollution caused by oil spills from tankers and oil from ship travel. Oil does not dissolve in water and forms a thick sludge.
Burning fossil fuels into the air causes the formation of acidic particles into the atmosphere. When these particles mix with water vapor, the result is acid rain.
An increasing water temperature is caused by global warming and thermal plants that use lakes and rivers to cool down mechanical equipment.
Groundwater contamination from pesticides causes reproductive damage to the wildlife and systems.
Sewage, fertilizer, and agricultural runoff contain organic materials that, when discharged into waters, increase the growth of algae, which causes a depletion of oxygen. The organisms in the area, and therefore they upset the natural ecological balance in rivers and lakes.
Swimming in and drinking contaminated water causes skin rashes and health problems like cancer, reproductive problems, typhoid fever, and stomach sickness in humans, which is why it's very important to make sure that your water is clean and safe to drink.
Industrial chemicals and agricultural pesticides that end up in aquatic environments can accumulate in fish that are later eaten by humans. Fish are easily poisoned with metals that are also later consumed by humans. Mercury is particularly poisonous to small children and women. Mercury has been found to interfere with the development of the nervous system in fetuses and young children.
The rising temperature in water destroys ecosystems, as coral reefs are affected by the bleaching effect due to warmer temperatures. Additionally, the warm water forces indigenous water species to seek cooler water in other areas, causing an ecological damage to shift off an affected areas.
Human-produced litter of items such as plastic bags and six-pack rings that can get aquatic animals caught and killed from suffocation.
Water pollution causes flooding due to accumulation of solid waste and solid erosion.
Oil spills in the water causes animals to die when they ingest it or encounter it. Oil does not dissolve in water, so it causes suffocation in fish and birds.
One solution could be that countries support the United Nations with financial aid, so it gives major support to the countries that have been affected with these problems.
Another solution is that scientists invent a shower with a sensor, so when someone steps in the shower, the water comes, and when they step out of the water, it stops running.
Another solution could be to support organizations that are helping countries in Latin America with water issues.
In addition, scientists and countries support the development of finding a cheaper and easier way of turning salt water into fresh water.
Another solution is that people waste less water so that money that has been used with water governments can improve sanitation.
These were all solutions that could be implemented that would help benefit this issue.
Thank you for watching this news special. Hope to take home some of this information.